Hi, friends. Welcome to Joy Fido International. My name is Joy Fido and welcome on board. So today I have so much exciting information to chat with you. You know what we do here? We like to share what we know. We like to share what's going on in our society. We like to, chat about our take on what this is about. And what's our slogan for this channel? Let's start thinking. So today our topic is let's start thinking. That's what the topic is. It's our slogan, but let's explain to you what we mean by let's start thinking. Now, in the news recently, we had this issue happening in the US. And President Trump says to these 4 women of color, go back to where you come from. What's his argument? If you don't like it here, go back to where you come from. Now, this has been a big issue right now on social media. 3 of the women were born in the US, born and bred in the US. They don't have any other place they come from. One of them got to the US from childhood. So you tell these people, go back to where you come from. Where should that be? That's the question. Where should that be? Now, what led to this? What led to this comment being made? There are policies that the government is taking on. President Trump's government is taking on policies that are not agreeing with these women. What are the policies? Everybody knows what's going on. The issues in Mexico and the border, and he's building this bridge or whatever, gate, wall, whatever he calls it. He's building this thing. And then what's going on? People emigrating, getting into US from Mexico, are dying daily. There was one in the papers, this father and child of about 18 months trying to swim through, and end up dying and being flown away by the sea. It was in every paper. Children, 2-year-old child is being kept away from parents in concentration camps as if we're back in the times of Hitler. Now this is a free world. This is a world where, is democratically elected president. You say your piece. But since this government of President Trump, the press have been gagged. They cannot say their piece. And as if that's not bad enough, what he chose to do was go on Twitter and speak his own piece, because nobody is allowed to listen to the news for reasons, fake news. So when you want to hear anything he has to say, he has to come from his own mouth on Twitter. Fine, no problem. Because when they mess around like that in other parts of the world, according to him, go to your shithole country, we don't know anything. And so we are so stupid. And so he throws things like this out all the time to the world. And what do? We all sit down like, it's only President Trump again. He's so stupid. What does he know? But this man is poking fingers in your face, in your eyes, and you have nothing to say about it. So these 4 women stood up to him. They're not happy with the policies he's making regarding children being locked up. And so they're fighting that democratically elected people, they've been elected by their constituents to represent them. So maybe the way I understand it here in the UK, when you have any issues in your constituency, you go to your rep, the person who represents you in the House of Parliament. You go to them with your issues and say, listen, this is what's happening. Could you represent me in the House of Parliament and discuss my issue? So maybe these women have been met by their constituents, telling them they're not happy with what's going on. Go and represent us. They have gone to speak out. This man that calls himself president cannot deal with these issues democratically, as in discuss his policies, as in debate it, as in stand by it and give his reasons for why he's chosen to do whatever he's doing. That's fine. That's what government should be. That's what democracy should be. He is practically this same shithole country he's talking about. That's what he is operating. Because now people cannot speak up. Because if they speak up, they'll be told to go back to where they come from. Now, let's start asking questions. I was going to do this, but I haven't had time. Where did the parents of President Trump come from? I know his mother is definitely Scottish. Where is his wife from, Melania? She is not American. Where is his first wife from, Ivanka or Ivana? She's not American. So has President Trump remembered he should tell his wives to go back first to where they come from? Because you don't go doing to other people what you don't want done to you. If children in the field, in the playground, say to his kids, go back to where you come from, how is he going to like that? Because this is what is being taunted to our children daily. I live in the West, and I deliver my children all born and bred here in the UK. My children are experiencing this. This is trauma on people's emotions. And instead of you to deal with the issues at stake, you revert back to trivializing issues. You turn into childhood playground games. Go back to where you come from. How about deal with the issues? I'm reading some of the comments on social media, and then you know how it's like the game of hate. I watched this movie, The Hate You Give. This game of hate, let's make people clash and fight each other, and then President Trump carries on with his life. Because he doesn't know, when Michelle Obama was talking about what he did to her husband, he doesn't know what he's throwing out there to the world. He started this with Obama. Go and bring proof that you were born in the US. Who talks like that? We're talking about life now. People are thinking of progress, not taking us back to before civilization. Because when you really look at it, are these so-called whites, these white supremacists that President Trump is playing for, were they originally Americans? No, they were not. Let's look back into history. America belonged to the native Indians. The same thing they did in Australia. People who left UK, left England, left Ireland, went to Australia, took over from the Aborigines, and suddenly they own the place. And when you go to the prisons in Australia, they are all the people you see there are Aborigines, while the Australians who are now claiming they own the land are the ones who are walking free. The same thing they did in South Africa. They go over there and then they take over. It became a big thing. Mandela had to be in prison for as long as for trying to fight the cause for his own people. So we're going back to before civilization started. And I was reading this message on Facebook where this woman is saying, you want us to go back to our countries or where we came from. But when you didn't think we belonged somewhere when you were using us to come and pick the cuttings in the fields. When the black people were then taken over as slaves to come and till the farms, cut the sugar canes, build the infrastructures, look after kids for white women who could not wake up and deal with their own mess in their own homes. Every day you watch these movies, it breaks your heart. And then a president takes it upon himself to justify his action and speak such hate to the world. And then we all sit there and laugh. It's only President Trump. And then now creating such hatred into the society. So So now people are busy fighting each other on social media. Why? Because he wants cheap election votes. So that the people with these rednecks who are supporting him will have a good reason to say, look at our savior. Send them back to where they came from. But you went to that land. And up to today, there is nobody, no other country in the world terrorizes the world more than America. No other country. Why? Because America got so much superior power. And so every African leader that has tried to make sense of their African country gets killed. I was watching a video on that. History has it. They will find a reason why you have not toed the line. And what then happens? Either you sleep, you die in your sleep, or you choke on some food, or you have some induced hypertension or high blood pressure. Something will happen because you haven't met their needs. So now you go to tell people, go back to where the shithole country where you came from. But you go there and you siphon everything the people have and you take it back to your country. And nobody should dare question you. Because you're who? You're Mr. Trump. But see, this is why I think people like us need to start thinking. This is why we need to start thinking. Because you see, I have taken my time to look at what's going on in the world. One of the books I'm reading, which is really interesting, The Biology of Belief. Biology of Belief by Bruce Lipton. One of the things he said that really makes a lot of sense, he said that there are two major types of biology. There was the Darwinian biology. And what Darwin was talking about is this evolution of human beings. And how, the ones with the power will eat up the ones without power. And that's where we are. That's what's been going on. Because remember what happens in Iraq. So much unnecessary blood spilling. People being killed unnecessarily. Because they claimed that Iran had this power, or Iraq had this power. Let's stop their power. And today, what's happening in Iraq? Complete mess. Iraq then created the one we now have. What do they call themselves? All the terrorist groups that we're dealing with today started from that Iraq confusion. Why can't they just tell us that it's all about money? Because you see, there's another angle to biology. Because Dr. Lipton explains everything starts from biology. So when you're just trying to eat up the other person just because they are weak, all you end up creating is confusion. Now, the other way is, look at the way the human body behaves. The human body listens to each other. Every cell responds to each other. Every cell works together. Now, that's the way God created us. If we could all work together as a team, wouldn't we create a better world? Now, these people live in the States. They've always known the States as their home. This is where they come from. There's no other place for them. But you now sit there on a high chair and you say to them, go back to where you come from. And I'm actually watching other programs, all these so-called white people, yeah, and why are they not going back to where they come from? And what about you? Have you looked into your history to know where you come from? And see if you can hop back to that place and be received with open arms. Because for someone like me, I have no issue going back to where I come from because I know I come from somewhere and I'm so proud of where I come from. Where I come from has got milk and honey. This same milk and honey is what you are chasing. You, Mr. Trump, that you call yourself leader of the democratic world, that no one can speak to you and you listen. We're not talking about all the other nonsense he does. from somewhere. And as I've said over and over on this channel, the new colonialism, this document is online. Businesses, Western businesses, go to Africa and siphon every natural resource they can find. Ship it over. What do? Leave those countries in abject poverty. And then in the meantime, don't even think of leaving that shithole and come and meet us, because we are the rich ones and you are the poor ones. But you have grabbed every natural resource they have and you've taken it with you. And then you know what they then do? Then they create this war within the community. So the community starts to clash. Because now I watched a documentary. They now leave these little hints of maybe oil or whatever. I was watching a program about Nigeria. How, of course, anybody that wants to know, there's this enough documentation all over the place about what happened in Ogoni, where I come from, when Ken Saro-Wiwa was killed for speaking out for his people. Then you drop droplets of little money. When you're taking trillions away, trillions of dollars, you leave maybe not even $1 million, $1,000. $2,000, and then the local community will be fighting over that, and then they are killing each other over that to please people like President Trump. Then he tells you, go back to your shithole country, because that shithole country has been made a mess. But you see, the natural tendency of human beings is you chase where there is sunshine. That's nature. Nobody wants to sit in the dark. Everybody is looking for light. So when you've taken everything that could create light in that place away, you're only creating for yourself problems. And I've read books and books where people are guiding and advising these Western world countries, stop this nonsense you're doing. Because you're creating problems for yourself in the future. Look at what's going on now in Mexico. Let me go and build a wall. How do you think a wall can stop people? And then nobody can speak, because if they speak, you will tell them to go back to where they come from. But see, this is why it's so important that people like us who know the truth start to think. Because I tell you where the problem is. Yes, for centuries they deceived us. They made us feel inferior. When you read up things from this man, Dr. Africa, and this particular book is Nutritional Destruction of Black People, they made us feel as little as you can imagine. For centuries, slavery deadened the black man's thinking, made the black man feel inferior, made the black man feel uncomfortable. There's a book I read, The Miseducation of the Negro. He said, if you control a person's mind, you don't need to tell the person what to do anymore. He just knows what to do. Even when the door is out there, you say, you can go now. You will look for the back door to go, because you control the mind. I watched that movie, Get Out. You need to watch it. And so they put you in a hypnotized state where you can't think anymore. And they were using parts of these people to get what they wanted. That's where we've been. And so we haven't been thinking. You see, fortunately, now, learn, one of the things I learned recently, allows you to read up your history. I saw a post one time on Facebook, said, instead of spending all that money looking for designer clothes and designer this and that to buy and look good, spend some of it to buy books and read. And read up on your history. and read up on knowledge that you need to know about your own people, and read up on what you can do to better your life. Okay, so this is what we're saying. A leader is supposed to unite the people. That's what I have always known that leaders do, and especially American leader, because America has put itself in this position of big brother of the world. Oh yeah, this is the land of the free. This is the land of democracy. This is the land that everybody look up to. But what Trump is showing the world right now is not friendly. It's not healthy. It's causing a big problem to the world, because we know France is like that. France is extremely racist, and they don't give any monkeys about what anyone thinks. That's who they are. We can handle that. And all the time you hear all this election thing going on. Oh yeah, it's going to go far right and it's going to go far left, whatever. And the UK, yes, we live with it. We know racism exists. We know we cannot pretend that it's not there. The rest of Europe got their racism. Because you see, I attend all these events and, oh yeah, this is what you can do with your mind. And you can do this and you can do that. How could you possibly achieve anything when you live in such a toxic environment? And this is what bothers me. Because you see, each time I go to Nigeria, which is my home, where I come from, and I'm feeling at home and I'm talking to my people, everyone is chasing a visa to travel to America, to travel to UK, to travel to Europe. Everyone wants to run away from home. Why? Because home is so bad. Yes, I know. Yes, I know. I know we have, again, politicians who have been so messed up that they have no clue what the world is saying. That instead of investing in our country, as Trump will gladly call us shithole countries, we would rather take all our money and go and put in Switzerland and go and buy a street in New York and go and buy whatever in central London or go to Dubai and own a big mansion. We would rather do that. We would rather invest our money anywhere else but our country. I can hear that. I can see that. But see, what our people don't get is you cannot survive in a toxic environment, as you see in America. Now that Mr. Trump has stood out in the open and verbalized what we have been experiencing all these years. I was just chatting to my sister and I was explaining to her, I said, listen, I tell you people these things every day and it's like I'm talking nonsense. But look at him now. And it's a good thing it's come out finally from the main person himself that should be creating peace, creating unity. But let me just read a little bit about Trump to you, for you to understand the person we're dealing with. The same man who's telling people to go back to where they come from. Look at him. He's a grandson of a German immigrant. When did German become American? For putting Obama through all that stress he did. He's the son of a Scottish mother. His mother is Scottish. He's married to a Slovenian woman, immigrant. Slovenian immigrant. Where did Slovenia become American? He's divorced from a Czechoslovakian woman. Can anybody tell me the America in Trump? That every day what he doesn't stop talking about is make America great again. In what form? Because now what everybody is telling him on social media, all he's been saying, not social media, all the four women he's picking on, he wants to make America white again. Why can't you just come out and say that? Because look at Trump's administration. How many black people do you see there? Or any other race? And when he does pick them, you know what he's like. He just uses them and dumps them. So, my question to all of us who don't belong to Trump's idea of what America is. What are we doing to change our situation? That's why I said let's start thinking. What are we doing to change our situation? Like I was saying earlier, yes, our great grandparents, ancestors had no clue what they were dealing with, and so they got harassed by these people who came over to our land, gave them a few bottles of white gin and said drink it, and you drank it, and then you're so drunk they are taking away all your cowries and all your elephants and all your gold and everything. You were ignorant. Then they took your children as slaves. You did not know anything. But today we are here now. Today we can read. Today we know the truth. Like these 4 women, which they got all my support, and I hailed them and I hailed them and I hailed them. My question is, where are the men right now? Where are these men of color to stand by their own wives and their own sisters and their own mothers and their own whatever, aunties? Where are they? This is where we need to start thinking. This is where we should stand up and fight our grounds. I mean, some of the comments I was getting on social media is Wakanda forever. Yes, you're there now. There is no other place to go. You have to stand there and fight your grounds. That's what this man is talking about. Miseducation of the Negro. Because now, where do you want to send them to? When you were busy grabbing them from their countries, the same thing happened here in the UK. Windrush generation, they came to Caribbean and took black people down here to the UK. What did they need them for? Come and do all the dirty jobs. Because we're not strong enough to do all that construction. We cannot build all these underground pipes, and we want people who are strong. They went to Caribbean and picked all these people, Windrush generation, and they used them, and they've got all the infrastructure. They've got all the things they wanted. Oh, England is one of the most visited countries in the world. Huh? Like I will learn in tourism. France is the, you don't even want to know the one about France. Some of the things I read about France makes me want to weep. Because up till now, France is still collecting money off their colonies. Colonies that are poor, don't have anything. They made them sign things that whatever resources they find now and in the future belongs to France. But that's not your land. The same thing with the US. So you go all over this world, you take people when you want them, and then when you're done with them, you chop them. You just tell them, go back to where you came from. So when you needed people to do that job, why didn't you think then that I may not need them? That's what people are asking now. When it was time to pick the curtains in the field, you knew we were there. You knew we were strong enough. When it was time to look after your children and let your wife sit down and throw her legs on the table, it was okay. But now I cannot stand and talk to you. I cannot tell you where you're wrong. Somebody needs to tell these people where they're wrong. This is where we need to start thinking. This is where we need to read the same books that they read. This is where learning to learn comes in. Because people like me, I don't take that nonsense from anybody. I put you in your place. Because you see, the difference, I will tell you today, the difference between a black person, a Mexican person, a white person, or a green person, or a Chinese person, the difference between one and the other is simply that thing between our ears. It's called the brain. And what job does the brain do? Is think. The job of the mind is think. Because generally when people say brain, they automatically think mind. Okay, when you dissect a person, there is no physical part you say this is the mind. But when you're thinking, what does the thinking? The brain does. So the brain and the mind are the same. in that sense. So that ability to think, and what do you think about? You think about what makes sense to your life, what works for you. Where am I right now? What am I looking for? How do I change it? How do I make it better? That's what it is. Because when you start reading, you will know. Look at someone like Trump legalizing hatred. That's what he's doing. Go back to where you come from. And then people are actually hailing him. Legalizing hatred. Now he's not backing down. He still wants to carry on. He still wants to see those women suffer. And that man, there's nothing he has not done in America, and nobody is touching him. Obama did not do anything of what Trump has done. He would have gone a million years ago. And he gets into power. What's your agenda for your administration? I want to destroy everything Obama stood for. Who does that? Don't you have a focus? Don't you have a reason why you're here? When you were campaigning, did you not have something you want to give your people? No. The only thing that bothers me is Obama. I want to make sure I destroy everything he stood for. And that's what he's been doing. All his international relations activities. Oh, I will change what Obama did not change. Why? There's been other presidents before Obama. Just because he's black. We need to think. That's why I say let's start thinking. We need to start thinking what can benefit our own people. We need to snap out of this madness called following. You just follow people because all this brainwashing. Because I read books like this to empower me. Brainwashed. Brainwashing is when you just follow somebody for the sake of following them. They tell you something, you don't ask why. I realize now that no, you should ask why at all times. Know why you're doing what you do. How is it beneficial to you or your people? How do you make a better life out of this situation? So this is where we are. Let's start thinking. So let's start thinking. It's about understanding how we can create a better life for ourselves and our community. I did a video once where I said, serve your community. Serve your community is about working with your own people. See how you can contribute to them. Because this whole superiority nonsense that the white man likes to throw at black people is nothing to do with color. It's simply about the way they think. And we all have that capability to think. This is where this book, The Biology of Belief, is helping me to clear my thoughts. You know, when it was assumed that, oh yeah, because you were born into some genes, you know, you had some genes in you. That genes dictated who you are. Your mother had so and so sickness, you will have it too. Your father had so and so, you. This Dr. Lipton did his research over and over again because he's a cell medical scientist. And he realized that, no, cells don't react to all of that genealogy. He came up with another book again, which is quite interesting. He calls it The New Biology. I've just bought it, but I've not had time to read it. Because beyond epigenetics, that's the new word. Cells respond to the external environment. And so most times, when we think that something it's meant to be internal, it's actually external. So we're reacting to the things that we are seeing from the external environment, and then we internalize that to create who we then become. So we need to understand that there is nothing wrong with each of us. We all have that capability to think, but we need to learn to open our mind. Open our mind to absorb information and allow it to give us power and strength to make decisions that will benefit us. And that's where I want all of us to start thinking from. Because you see, my concern, which I always throw these things out, and trust me, over the years, when I see something happening, it is happening. Trump has thrown out a huge hatred out there into the open. And our ignorant African people, black people, we're still hopping on the plane now. We cannot wait to go to America and speak with American accent and look cool and wear the latest brand and look amazing. What we're doing is we're losing it. We're losing track of who we are. Where we should be thinking is, what can we do to change the life of our people? What can we do to empower ourselves? Because the amount of hate that is out there right now, that's why in tourism, which is one of the courses I've done, very few people are thinking America for a place to visit. It was called the Trump effect. Because the man got into power and 6 countries automatic, you cannot get visa to come to America. What is in America? I visited America, and I'm telling you, when I visited Virginia, if that was the first American state I went to, I would never have gone back again. It was a mess. It was worse than the worst place in Lagos, Richmond. So, what about New Orleans when that whole thing came out? The whole world was in shock. Is this America? Because I think what happens right there in that little White House or Washington does not spread out to the rest of America. New York, oh yes, oh what an amazing place. And then you go to Las Vegas, oh look at all the lights. And you go to what's the other place? San Francisco. Chicago is nothing to write home about. Los Angeles, you hang around the what's that seaside, and then you see the place with where the stars walk and all of that. Hollywood. That's America. The rest are nothing to write home about. I have visited nearly as many states in America as I can think of. That's worth visiting. So when you arrive in America and you are going through immigration, you are thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to heaven itself. And you're meant to walk in this straight line and don't talk to this immigration officer until you're spoken to. Don't even smile, don't even laugh. And then they'll throw words at you and you're shaking. And then you finish with them and you get into the country and you ask yourself, really? Did I go through all of that for this? Because I have traveled the world and I'm telling you there is nothing in America. There's absolutely nothing. All the fakeness that country presents to the world is fake. New Orleans exposed America to the world. And I can sit here and I can tell you exactly how I feel. Because I have students who are constantly asking for, they want to buy this DVD, they want to buy that DVD. And I tell you, every day I'm having issues with these people. I want to share knowledge with you. I have knowledge I want to share with you. Embrace this knowledge, better your life. Come out of the rut you're in. What is that? For 1 cent, they will fight to the end. But there's so much knowledge in your face and you're not using it. That's the America we're talking about. And that's the America every African cannot wait to get on the plane to go to and live there and be subjected to nonsense. Because when you are in a toxic environment, you cannot think. That's what Dr. Lipton is explaining in his research. When a cell is placed in the environment, the conditions for growth, and he gave one cell toxins, and then he gave the other cell nutrients, and he watched how they behaved. The one with nutrients was growing towards the nutrients, while the one with toxins closed its shells and did not even move. That's a human body. When you are in a toxic environment, you cannot grow. You cannot come out of your shell. You will lock up. You will actually lock your door and bolt it. And that's what the West does to you when you don't belong. Because as far as they know, you don't belong. You're in an environment where you're allowed to be yourself. You will grow. I can relate to what we're experiencing as a race, because right now you go to your African country, the leaders are rubbish because they're responding to these Western leaders telling them what to do with their people. But see, if we work as a group, if we work as people, I've read so many books. All we need to do is come together as a race. We can change this. And that's what Let's Start Thinking is about. We cannot live this life the way it is for our children. The future looks really bleak. Because if my child who was born and bred here is being told, go back to where you came from, where is that place? My child does not know that place. I know that place. You can tell me that and I will happily go. But you cannot tell my child who was born and bred here to go back to that place that they came from. When they've been through the system, they've been to the school, they participated, they paid their tax. And then you tell them go back to where they've been elected into Congress. That's the highest position in the country. You tell them go back to where you came from. So if you're an African person or wherever other country you're coming from and you want to chase the West, these lights that we're all chasing, and this smooth road that we're all chasing, and this water flowing through the tap we're all chasing, start thinking, what can I do to where I came from to better the lives of my people? Such that if my children feel uncomfortable in this place that they've been raised in, they can find their way back somehow and survive there. That's where we are. Because while Mr. Trump does not belong to America, he thinks he owns America right now. And yes, if you ask my advice, let them stand up and fight for themselves. Because there's nothing in this life that you don't have to fight for. You have to, every day is a fight in life. Every day. Excuse me. Every day is a fight. Look at someone like Kim Jong-un. Mr. Trump respects a young man like that. Why does he respect him? Because he has power. He has power. He can throw missile in the air and, oh, please don't throw that missile. Oh, please, let's talk. Then he goes to visit him. Oh, he's done the most amazing thing no American leader has done. He walked on the soil of North Korea. Oh, let's all clap and hail Mr. Trump. He's done an amazing thing. Because this 33-year-old man, compared to him of 70, whatever years old, has same power that he has. Do you see the difference? That's what we need to think. That's what we need to think. No one is going to walk to you. You see, Dr. Africa said it. He said we're dealing with a race that have no qualms about destroying you and taking what you have. And look into the history of the whites. I mean, We blacks are quite receptive and open and friendly and, oh yeah, let's live together, let's be happy together, let's be friends. Yeah, that's the other side of biology. But their own biology is the Darwinian biology. Their biology is no friendship. Every time they get into a stranger's country, they look for the choicest part of town, blah blah blah, quarters. They will never blend in. No, that's not them. Why should they blend in? Our own road should be different. Our own cars should be different. Our food should be different. We are different. And then when you come to them, what do? They throw you in the worst part of town and even tell you get out of town. Do you see the difference? So it's down to you now to start thinking, because I am thinking. We all need to think. I wouldn't want my grandchildren, great-grandchildren dealing with this. The same thing happened during the biblical time when Moses had to go and bring children of Israel from Egypt. I don't know if God is going to be that patient with us. When I'm preaching it today, people are not listening. The sooner we go and set up our countries to be like a place where our children can survive in, the better for all of us. Let's start thinking. If we start using our brain as against what our typical men would do, all men think about is using their manhood. If we come out of that manhood and use our brain to start thinking, what can we do to better our society? We can change lives. What does our community need? That's a question we should ask ourselves. What is lacking? How can we find that? People need good health. People need good homes. People need good roads. People need electricity. People need water. People need beauty. People need fashion. The same thing, all these things we spend money on for other, from other people. Like Zimbabwe's president, his wife was Gucci Grace. The same Gucci that she's going spending money on. We can create that Gucci in Africa. Where does Gucci get its product from? From China. So why can we not go create a brand that's African brand that is having that kind of quality? Why can we not do that? With the millions that they have, we can do it. You see our children drip. That's what they call it nowadays. Drip. Our children don't think of anything else but brands. Oh, is it LV? Is it Gucci? Is it Louis Vuitton? Is it? And all these names. What are we talking about? Money. And so you spend the rest of your life. Now we're not even talking anymore in that sense political slavery. Now we're talking economic slavery. Because now you're going to, how many hours would you have to work in order to have the money to buy Supreme? As all these musicians have created this image in our children's head. Instead of our musicians who have all this money in their hands, nothing to do with, to invest in businesses that can employ their own younger brothers and sisters. No, they will spend it. The other day I was watching one of these things my son showed me. They're wearing, what's that thing they wear in their teeth?
Braces.
Not braces.
Grills.
Grills. And these grills are made of diamond. And they can't talk anymore because they fill their mouth up with that thing and then they just go like that to show you the grills. And then they're trying to talk. Of course, the tongue cannot work with that. So they're trying to talk but you don't hear what they're saying. Because they're wearing grills. All that thousands and millions of dollars they spend in buying one grill and those jewelry that are dangling down their neck, and jewelry is heavier than neck. They could have invested in setting up some businesses that black people can walk in and be proud. And if you have ability to handle your own, will people like Trump tell you to go back to where you came from? Because he's proudly announced how black people are lazy. And how all black people think about is women, lazy, Mexicans are rapists. You know, anything that can come out of his mouth, he throws it out. But see, all these things are happening because we give them power to do that. We've allowed them to see negative all the time. So the solution is our people need us, our community needs us, and our community is anywhere. It could be there in the US, it could be here in the UK, it could be in Africa. We have our community. We need to grow our people. We need to empower our people. And that's why I preach, let's start thinking. Because you see, the same way these other countries that have power can hold people like Trump to ransom. Look at what China and America are going through right now. Look at what Iran and and America are going through right now. Look at what ISIS and them have been going through. Look at what Kim Jong-un and North Korea and America are going through. These are people with power. When you know, it's like the bully in the playground. When he knows he cannot stand you, he finds a way to run. He'll find some other little person that he can bully. That's just the way he is. The only reason Trump is bullying black Americans or Africans or people of color is because he feels they cannot withstand him. And that's the same thing across the world. Anybody that wants to bully you looks at you first and say, can I bully this one? Why would Trump be begging young Kim Jong-un every day? Let's have a meeting. Oh, I just wrote him a tweet and then he replied and then I went to see him. 70-something-year-old, 30-something-year-old. It's nothing to do with age. It's the power you hold. There's enough facilities, there's enough, I won't even call it ingredients, there's enough materials, there's enough everything that Africa has that can create all this power the rest of the world is looking at. They never have any of their meetings and call any African leader. G8, G10, G12, G whatever. No African leader goes to those meetings. That's where they make decisions, where they decide what to do with Africa. Which country can we go and pull out all their natural resources? They are plutonium, they are this, they are that. And then you have the guts to tell them, go back to where you came from. To me, there is no bigger statement that man could have made that can wake us up. This is the time to wake up. Wake up for your children's sake. Wake up for generations unborn. Wake up for Africa. Wake up for the black race. Wake up for any other race that you are. Because you don't wake up today, you will be put to sleep forever. And nature does not approve of that. It's for you to use your own mind and think. Nature did not create us and say, oh yeah, let me decide. This one should be higher than that one, and that one should be below. No, there's no such thing. You are the one who will decide what you want your life to be. We all have needs. Let's meet our needs. And let's not sit and allow people to intimidate us and make us feel small and inferior. I'm going to leave it here today. It's down to us. It's down to us. Thank you so much for watching this video. I had to throw it out the way I felt about it. Please share this video with your friends. We need to wake up. Give us a thumbs up if you like this. There's so much more that's coming your way on this channel. We look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you and God bless you.